Hello folks, this is Steve A.B. for you. I'm wearing my special glasses for this one. Nothing in this episode is a promotion, nor is it a recommendation, and you know I go to slashdot.org, News for Nerds, every day, and I'm looking, and just a few minutes ago for today I started to scroll down and Microsoft overhauling its software security after major Azure cloud attacks. Now, the key concept here is overhauling its software security. Microsoft has had a few rough years of cybersecurity incidents and also problems with printers, shutting businesses down this past year, month after month, unable to fix their printer driver problems, and so many other things. It found itself at the center of the solar winds. I talked about that a little bit. As a matter of fact, this week there's I think an important legal case involving SolarWinds. Never mind, that's what's called a supply chain attack. You're a vendor that a lot of people depend on for some important function, and they get in there, and then when you distribute your software without checking to see if anybody's changed it behind your back from inside, because you can't think that anybody could get into your place, you spread it like the plague. It found itself at the center of the SolarWinds attack nearly 3 years ago, one of the most sophisticated cybersecurity attacks we've ever seen. And then 30,000 organizations' email servers were hacked thanks to a Microsoft Exchange server flaw. And if that wasn't enough, Chinese hackers breached U.S. government email via Microsoft Cloud exploit earlier this year. Something's got to give. See, they summarized it better than me. And Bleeping Computer has noticed the new Microsoft announcement also. Cloudflare had a blown fuse on their power supply. Microsoft pledges to bolster security as part of, quote, Secure Future Initiative. Now that's the key word, initiative. Microsoft announced today, presumably November 2nd, 2023, the Secure Future Initiative pledging to improve the built-in security of its products and platforms to better protect customers against escalating cybersecurity threats. There's a little bit of editorial bit here. See how the writer of this phrases it. If the company follows up on its promises. No. If the company actually delivers on its promises. This will lead to enhanced customer security by addressing immediate concerns and quote, this is Microsoft President Brad Smith. In recent months, we've concluded within Microsoft that the increasing speed, scale, and sophistication of cyber attacks, AI, call for a new response. Therefore, we're launching today across the company. Now, this is the key phrase. We're launching across the company. In other words, everybody's involved. A new initiative to pursue our next generation of cybersecurity protection. They have to say it like that. what we're calling our Secure Future Initiative, SFI. Since September 2022, ransomware attempts have surged by 200%, according to Microsoft Digital Defense Report. Okay, so you've got the flavor of the BS that they're dishing out yet again. They must be under a lot of pressure. When I worked for that internationally known, internationally operating IT company, at the very beginning, there was a new initiative about how they would do their web pages, which was a brand new thing at the time. It's about pretty much the time, a little bit later than what we're going to talk about here. And this new initiative, which I accidentally got involved in because I actually knew how the web was working, whereas the people the job was handed to didn't even have computers at home with browsers. So it was all a mystery to them, but they were given the job assignment. And I helped them out by explaining what was it. This is a reminder for an appointment. I'll pick it up in a few moments and I'll press 1 and they'll thank me for confirming my appointment. Confirm an appointment. I love the robots. Thank you. See, now I let it go enough that I know to press a 1 and the robot will say thank you and not finish the rest of the 5 minutes of running their mouth. Aren't computers great? Especially that design. I think that design is primo. That person was really thinking. So back to this. The CEO of Hewlett-Packard, the CEO of Hewlett-Packard, as I recall, personally called the CEO of this company, this internationally known, internationally operating company, and complained about how the company's websites worked when it came to clicking on the link and actually transferring your browser to some website, web page that wasn't a part of the internationally known, internationally operating IT company's web. And he said he thought it was unacceptable. And the CEO of the company I was working for took it to heart and gave the order. He didn't know anything about it. He didn't understand any of it. All he knows is a peer CEO burned his ear good. And he said, we got to fix it, whatever this is. Now, today it would be very different. The CEO getting a call like that would actually understand what the web is. How does that relate to what Microsoft is announcing right now? Microsoft announced today the Secure Future Initiative, pledging to improve the built-in security of its products and platforms to better protect customers against escalating cybersecurity threats. It's 2023. It's the beginning of November. Let's go to the Wayback Machine. Let me try. Now, I just remembered something about a telephone call between two CEOs, right? Let's see what else I can remember. Bill Gates. We all know who Bill Gates is, right? Now, he's a multi-billionaire. and he's off doing his thing about vaccinations because he wants to lead the world to a better future. Bill Gates orders all Microsoft developers to review software code for security. You got that? You can't see, but under my head, were the Google search results helpful? All right, now what did it return? Now it's from Microsoft. It's from Microsoft, and the search engine has not only returned a reference, but a specific paragraph. 20 years ago this week, Bill Gates sent a now famous, this is what I'm remembering, I remember when this was reported, only at that time it was reported in something we got every week that was on paper that now doesn't exist, but does exist still in the web as a daily website. 20 years ago this week. Now this has a date of 2022-01-21. The date down here is Microsoft.com security blog 2022-01-21. We're talking about just under 2 years ago. Remember what I started with? Their new announcement. 20 years ago this week, which would be in 2002, Bill Gates sent a now famous email to all Microsoft employees announcing the creation of the Trustworthy Computing Initiative, TWC. You notice how it's FSI now? They had to change the name. I wonder how many acronyms they went through. The initiative was intended to put customer security and ultimately customer trust at the forefront of all Microsoft employees. That's Mr. Gupka. Andhal Gupka, Corporate Vice President and Deputy CISO. Gates' memo called upon teams to deliver products that are as available, reliable, and secure as standard services such as electricity, water services, and telephony. This is before cell phones. Protecting customers is core to Microsoft's mission, with more than 8,500 Microsoft security experts across 77 countries, dedicated red and blue teams, 24/7 security operations centers, and thousands of partners across the industry. We continue to learn and evolve to meet the changing global threat landscape. In 2003, which would be 1 year after the famous Bill Gates memo that was leaked to the world, and everybody laughed. Yep, everybody laughed. Very, very close to the beginning of the web. Bill Gates also said, at first he resisted the web, but then he did the Internet Explorer stuff, and then he was 100% for the Internet, and he switched the company around from being desktop-only oriented to not only networking, but web-oriented, because it was the future, and in particular for Microsoft, it would allow him to send out updates every single day or every hour as needed. Wow! We don't have to make those old flunky CDs anymore and mail them out every 6 months by the millions. See, this is reminiscing. I just want to put the latest announcement into perspective, folks. Bill Gates stories. This is also Microsoft. We've also published books like Writing Secure Code. ZDNet, October 14, 2021. See, that's coming up to the anniversary. Eventually, our software should be so fundamentally secure that customers never even worry about it, wrote Gates. Now, this is ZDNet. They existed back at that time and still exist, but they do something different today. Windows security 20 years on from Bill Gates' trustworthy computing memo. How much has changed? Does that sound like they're going to laugh at it? Windows security has changed a lot in 20 years, but so have the groups that attack it. Now they have a link to his famous memo. Let's see if it goes there. Oh, this is to an article when it's only 10 years afterwards. That one was 20 years on. I remember the security situation. Wait a minute. I have never seen this before. I remember the security situation at Microsoft in 2001 and 2002 like it was yesterday. This is the author. Guest editorial by Michael Howard. I have no idea who he is. I probably knew at one time, but... Oh, here's one over here. Microsoft still paying for its mobile mistakes 10 years later. Oh, are you kidding me? Perhaps no other couple of years will be so indelibly etched on my brain as those two. 2001 was not so good, and 2002 was a heck of a lot better. Given 2001, it was not a difficult achievement in 2002, meaning it all fell apart in 2001. And anything that they did to recover looked like it was a miracle. I want to make sure you understood his sarcasm. Because I remember. So let me start at the beginning. In late 1999, a small band of us formed a small security team. You mean there wasn't one before that? As in threats, not as in features. To help raise software security awareness across the company. In other words, the Trojans were starting to multiply, and it's like nobody at the bench, at the cubicles, was paying any attention. Because they were just too busy with their next favorite little trick to put into Microsoft Windows. See, I remember what it was like. We had no name for a long time until Vice President in Windows at the time, Dave Thompson, decided to call us the Secure Windows Initiative. Our charter was to start reviewing Windows code in depth, looking for security bugs, but having a small number of people reviewing something the size of Windows was clearly not going to work. So we moved to a secure bug bashes model where we would deliver security. In other words, they were sending memos to everybody to wake them up from their caveman sleep and come into the modern world, because all these guys were heads down kind of things, and they started with CPM and all that stuff, and they had no idea what Windows on the internet was, because that's basically what, if you think about it, on the internet and then the web is the main vehicle of spreading all of this, yeah. All right. All right. And, you know, the search engine didn't have any trouble how Bill Gates saved Microsoft 20 years ago. In a 2002 memo, Bill Gates stated that, see, we've just read a personal memoir from somebody who was the initiator And now Bill Gates takes over the grand idea. Bill Gates stated the security is now Microsoft's first priority. By doing so, he pulled a U-turn. And you can go on and on. People have different takes on it. And why am I belaboring this? Microsoft overhauling its software security after major Azure cloud attacks. It's getting so bad that they're worried. They're really worried inside. Now, I haven't looked at any of the comments, and I'm not going to. So the more things change, the more they stay the same. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Wikipedia. Oh, it's from the French. So that means it goes back hundreds of years. Let me see. Quote meaning in French, does it give a person attributed to, I guess there's an old French saying. They got it right. So that's it, folks. Laugh at it. This is all PR. Because back then, once they got out of the terrible hot water, things went back to business as usual. That these initiatives keep coming up because they hit an incredible crisis point. It is never actually the number one every day forever focus. Ever. It's only when it becomes to the point of utter crisis. Get used to it. If I make it through another 20 years, there'll be 2 more initiatives like this at least. Right? At least. With AI, they may have to speed it up, and in another 20 years, there'll be 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 more of these new initiatives for security. As the landscape now changes so rapidly. Because these are actually each in response to a particular kind of backdoor move that surprised them, that they were unaware of. See, I'm thinking about it now. Because you can't see the future, right? They'll tell you that. You can't see the future. You get into a new area, you build up, you become the target, because the parasites notice that you're easy target now, so they change from feeding on that to feeding on you. And then you have to wake up and realize you thought you were great, but now those guys know you inside and out, and they're doing it to you every single day, and we're about to go down the drain, and we got to do something, so we need to have a new initiative. I'm only talking this way because I'm old. Steve A. for you. Just, in a sense, reminiscing a bit. Saying see you in 73.